Ooh, what's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Claru.
And this is House of the Dragon, Season 2 finale.
Hell yeah, we're so excited.
I realized, mostly thanks to comments from you viewers, that I did not say penultimate in last week's episode. Yeah. And so we will be shutting down the channel. This is the end of our YouTube career. I am going to go get a job in cat maintenance.
So you're gonna die?
Yeah.
Oh, alright.
Suicide by asphyxiation.
It's been good.
A common thing in George R. R. Martin's Game of Thrones. This episode of our reaction series to this show is brought to you by MistyMountainGaming.com. That's right, we have a sponsor for the finale. MistyMountainGaming.com is the single best place on the internet to buy dice. Mostly because they like us. And I, as an actor, am desperate for people to like me. Misty Mountain Gaming has this incredible new dice set called the Monster Manual. Gotta cover our faces so the focus works. It's got dragons and beholders on it, for those of you who like that. And then Clarissa is holding up her new cat's eye dice.
Yes, these are the green cat's eye ones, which are like just these like beautiful shades of green with the gold inking on it. And it's just like, oh my god. These were literally sitting outside of our door because we ordered them. And then we were at Gen Con this weekend. And I was like, oh no, it's fine, they're safe.
We are also recording this at midnight after driving for 8 hours from Indianapolis because you hooligans will not stop posting spoilers. Anyway, no, I need to finish the ad read. Nerdy Nightly 15 is your coupon code to get 15% off your order.
Go get dice now.
And to support the channel. So if you like us at all and you like yourself, take a discount and get yourself some great dice at MistyMountainGaming.com. Coupon code NerdyNightly15. If you want the full length reaction to this episode, every other episode that we do, you can get that over at patreon.com/nerdynightly. But that's enough talking. It's time to watch House of the Dragoon Season 2 finale. You can stop doing that. Let's get into it.
House Targaryen is the blood of the dragon. If any may lay claim to it, what are we then?
Still the blood. Do you not? I don't think you understand how blood works.
Well,
when a daddy spunks in a mommy.
When you're not married, it's actually magically different.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Endeavored to serve, and somehow none of it matters. So Ricard.
That's, oh my god. I was trying to figure out who it is last week.
Our comments.
It's freaking Garp.
Yeah, from One Piece.
Dude's having a good year.
Well done.
And he deserves it. He's a great actor.
Something in the blood. I am of Sultan Sea. I yearn for nothing else.
I'll never understand it. There are people who are like, I can't live without the smell of the ocean. And I'm like, that's crazy. The ocean smells terrible.
No, when it's clean. I don't know. I like the smell of the ocean.
Nah, not for me.
Oh, all right. Depends on where, but...
God, there's so much setup.
Yeah. A lot has happened.
Yeah. The recap's crazy.
Yeah, as slow as people say the show is, a lot has happened.
Yeah. In certain...
I saw a meme
lines.
where Silverring was like, the fuck did I just hatch?
That's so funny because he wakes up to the clutch break-in.
Yeah.
That's very funny. Or she. Silverring female and
Yes.
Vermithor's male.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Vagar's female.
Actually, no. Vermithor is male.
So then Silverring is female.
Yeah. Silverring is female and Vagar is female. And I think Vermithor is
Which
male.
makes sense because the clutch of dragon eggs that she's looking over. Yeah.
That looks like...
I love that this is all dragons. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, fuck the people.
Oh,
this
that
is about
was-
dragons
I think
now.
that was... Is that some... No, that's... Whose dragon is that? Oh, Rhaenyra's dragon is about to get hurt.
Maybe.
That sucks. Okay.
I have no idea. I don't know if those are past or present things. Oh. Are we in Dorne or Pentos?
Dorne hasn't really come
No,
up,
this
so
is
I'm assuming,
Pentos.
yeah.
Give us the stepstones. A smattering of rocks. Hardly a sacrifice to the lords of Westeros.
Rocks have been disputed for a generation.
Only one?
Recoup the losses we took fighting the Velaryon hordes.
Extortion. You will drive up the price of basic goods.
It is better than starving, surely.
Yeah. They kind of have you over a barrel.
You can topple the Prince Regent and sit the Iron Throne yourself.
You know they have Vagar, right?
I am the master of ships at King's Landing.
You're thin, but also tall.
What?
I will not sail with a man who cannot best me.
Good.
At what?
Okay, Thailand. That's a good question. That's a sick shot. Was that Rook's Rest? Did he go back for Sunfire?
I believe so. The eye.
Yeah, I know
wow.
that skin. Aha.
The Pretender has found 3 new riders for her dragons.
That's impossible.
He flew to challenge her and was rebuffed. Fled in terror, from what I hear.
Ooh.
And laid waste to the whole of the town.
Oh.
He'd...
Fucking mad cunt.
When Rhaenyra descends on you with her 7 dragons and you without Vagar, what then?
Well, I didn't think of that part.
He's...
It's really nice that Aegon finally has someone being honest with him. It sucks that it's Larys, because he's
Yeah.
way smarter than Aegon, but...
Aegon the Rebuilder.
Aegon the Realm's Delight.
No, that's Rhaenyra, actually. You can't both... Sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whatever you need, buddy.
If this show ends with them being like, and who has a better story than Aegon the Rebuilder? I think that people will burn HBO to the ground.
Yeah. Jeez, how long has she been wandering for?
I have no idea.
I mean, she's looking for a dragon. That's a lot of area to cover.
Do you think Larys is doing all of this just for, like, one more sniff at Alicent's feet? Is that what he's hoping for out of all this?
I think it's a bit more than that.
You think it's genuine care for Aegon because they're similar?
Absolutely not.
No, I mean, like, because he sees his own wounds in Aegon.
No.
Really? You don't think it's that at all?
No. I think he made his bid with Aemond. Didn't work, so he's like, all right, on to the next.
He is the Prince of Prince Jacaerys Velaryon. Right here. Who'd have thought it? He lives here.
Fucking idiot.
We're in his house.
Oh, the young prince! And look at that hair.
Oh!
I will see you hanged and your body fed to the dogs in the street.
I meant no disrespect, my prince.
Let's go, Jace. Look, I get it. He's being very, like, princey about it. But like, the guy's got to hear that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to be a dragon rider...
Someone's got to tell him.
You can't have him shitting in the saddle first time he sees another dragon.
He's a shipwright in my employ, and it is reported to me that he is a man of integrity.
Corlys, just say he's your fucking son.
Just...
The third brother is untested. He's never left Old Town. And his dragon is younger than Vermax.
But a dragon nonetheless.
And Dreamfire.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
And he will not be denied.
You speak truly. I wish it was not so.
That was a lot of exposition, but they were like, we're not going to make it flowery. Let's plow through it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
There is, of course, another player that is yet to be revealed.
Yeah.
Oh, Daemon.
Yeah.
How goes your muster?
We'll be ready to march in 2 days' time.
See to those pigs.
At once, Your Grace.
Me too, man. A little pork belly. Ooh.
I aim to march on King's Landing before he can catch me.
May I have a word in private, Your Grace?
So your wife wants to know, like, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
If you declare yourself, your lords will follow you.
You fucker.
Oh, boy.
But what we need in this moment is a king.
God.
This is why the whole, like, they're married thing is, like, so weird to me. Because if you and I were like, I will run Nerdy Nightly, and you will be there. I'm like, he's already the king. I know that's not how it works. I get that that's not how it works. But they're like, they're literally, like, related. It's not even that they're married.
Yeah.
They're literally uncle and niece.
Yeah.
Will need no sustenance if they are slaughtered by the enemy. We must all make our sacrifices.
Sure.
They're unhappy. And unhappy people look for someone to hate.
Yeah.
You're also the reason they're unhappy.
Yeah.
You did all of this.
What would you think about leaving this place?
Where would I go?
Poor Helena.
I need passage. In your discretion.
Just gotta sneak old Helena out.
Yeah.
King's mother in his hand.
She is my sister.
She saved my life. Since then, she has been the beacon I follow.
All these dudes in the back are like, our leaders are so weird.
Yeah.
Oh, would that it was so simple.
Your brothers in the King's Guard find a way.
Well.
We march now toward our annihilation. To die will be a kind of relief.
Damn. Post Dragonfire, Kristen Cole's kind of a great character.
Yeah.
He's like, how do I kill a man that depressed?
Yeah.
What do you even do?
Yeah.
Mud wrestling?
Yes.
The fuck does this have to do with sailing? I guess.
Wow.
They're really like, we gotta find a way to make this episode be over an hour long. Guys, we need stuff to happen. Was he not supposed to do that?
You have impressed me, Lord Daemon. King's Landing has sent a most doughty ambassador. Have you ever eaten the flesh of your enemies?
What the fuck?
And I would not.
So you reject the hospitality of my house?
Wow. She is
a jest, my lord.
Such an asshole.
A jest.
I like her. I don't know what this doesn't feel like a finale thing.
Well, no, the thing is they are going to show up, right? Because they need them.
I guess there's just only 30 minutes left.
Yeah.
It feels like a mid-season like setup for stuff.
I'm not pouting.
What would you call it then?
Dude, have you seen your lips? You are always pouting. There are filters that make me look like you, but I could never do it naturally. You're very pretty. And I mean that in the only a complimentary sense.
Yeah.
The son of the rightful queen. And here you are sulking because you believe that if not for the dragon or the trappings of your station that you are nothing.
I love her.
Yeah. She's holding Dragonstone together. Her and Massaria.
Then prove to them that you are worthy. Get up and take your place by your mother's side.
Listen to your woman. She speaks sense.
Oh, I think they're using this storyline to tell us time is passing.
Mm-hmm.
For you'll be sailing many days afore you get some more. So grease the mast and send it up.
We shan't go to sea with ya if you can't sing a shanty, my boy.
Good song! Well delivered!
It was alright. He got to the end.
I've seen worse.
I will be pleased to sail at your side. And my captain's with me.
I get that he's not the mountain, but he's like a fit 6 foot tall man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's more, I think, like the way he carries himself and his like fancy clothes to them, you know. The Lannisters have a reputation, I guess.
Rue the day we meet again.
Hey, let's go.
You are a handsome man, and you have proven your worth and virility. I wish to have children by you.
Oh!
You want me to?
Indeed.
Wow, okay.
I want you to fuck my wives.
Oh.
How many wives do you have?
Damn, alright.
What is happening in this comedic side plot?
I don't know, but I love it.
A toast. To our new
Shoulder pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Silver Wings a goer, she is. We're afraid of nothing. Even if you are.
There will be time enough to see which one of us is a coward.
A knight will comport himself with grace at the Queen's table.
Best make me a knight then.
Ulf is not surviving.
Sense of humor do you all good.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, if they could laugh at a joke, it would help all of the Targaryens so much.
Yeah.
If any of them could handle a small joke.
From Harrenhal, Your Grace.
There it is.
Adam, come with me.
Birds.
Birds.
It's just one of those things where, like, you just, like, you need to carry yourself differently at a tavern versus a 5-star restaurant. You know what I mean?
They could just, like, kill you and not tell Silverwing and be like, ah, he died. Sorry, we got another batch of middle-aged white men. Just start sending them in one at a time into her clutch.
That's what I mean, though. He's very confident.
Maybe dragons, like, lose their mind for a moment when their rider dies and they're like, oh, we don't want him to go crazy. We don't want her to, like...
Well, no, he's just more valuable to them as a rider than dead right now.
I don't know that I could say that.
You know what?
There's a level of, like, self-awareness that you just want an adult to have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, like, kind of cute if it's your, like, friend in college. But then you, like, don't talk to that friend as much when you get married because you're like, dude, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
All your life you've sought to command your own fate. But today you are ready.
Is he about to become Doctor Strange? Oh! Hey, what's up, Danny?
Story.
Oh.
Interesting.
And you're but one part in it.
She's a seer.
Yeah.
You know what you must do.
I guess he's got to go jump in a lake.
No, he needs to go wash his hands.
Him drowning was just the tree telling him to wash his hands after this.
But in a time like this, when the good of the realm depends on us.
He's so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
That we will answer outrage with outrage.
And if I refuse, will you burn me as you did Aegon?
Oh, shit.
You were swallowed up in the god's eye, and you were never seen again.
That must be in the
The
ocean.
Godswood at Harrenhal?
No, not the Godswood. The God's Eye.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, here we go. The episode's almost over and the characters have decided to do something. This is the problem with prophecy storytelling, is that sometimes you literally get to the final moment when things happen, because you have to spend so much time getting to the prophecy. You have to justify all the characters wanting to do a thing they don't want to do.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I think this is going to go very poorly, because I think Daemon, that moment was him deciding to stand with Rhaenyra, but Rhaenyra is on her way thinking that they're about to fight.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I really want to come out and be like, what happened to the 3 eggs we sent to Pentos? I had the craziest dream about those 3 eggs.
He wasn't there. He'd already left, I think.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Message gave me much concern.
Yes, I must admit I had reason to fear.
If Adam gets killed, like, right away, that's gonna be so sad.
Yeah.
What a move.
Alright, Daemon. You gotta make a choice here.
I wasn't expecting you.
That seems rather a lapse in foresight.
Filipasma kesu pranon merisa sola armazis.
Ooh.
They both now have the Song of Ice and Fire, but from different people.
Yeah.
Is a leader who can unite it, and my brother chose you.
I mean, the lighting's sick. Well placed.
You are the true queen, Rhaenyra. First of her name.
He's so fucking dead.
He's had growth, and now he dies.
Yeah.
Because Vhagar's on the way, right? So I think him and his dragon are gonna die.
I don't know if Caraxes will, but I think that he will.
I think
he's about to drown in the lake next to Harrenhal. Because the vision said he's about to drown. The magic woman said he dies here, and then the vision had him drown. So I feel like.
I just don't think Caraxes
Which gets
makes
into
it out either.
why I don't like prophecies in TV shows or storytelling. I
think
know other
when
people do. I totally get other people do. It is just a thing that is not for me. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I like that moment because it's in the same episode.
That was a good bet.
There will be no mercy! We fight for our queen!
Let's go.
That's pretty sick. The question is, does this stay together after he's dead?
Yeah, this feels like the penultimate episode in a weird way.
It feels like episode 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Not 8 of 8.
Yeah. Like, I'm enjoying it. It's still good, but it just doesn't feel like a finale.
No. And that's my problem with it, is that if we was like, it's going to be 11 months, and but it's like in 2.5 years, these plot lines will resolve.
If I survive this war, I'll continue as I began. Alone.
Well, damn, Alan.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little nervous that all of this is leading to teases for next season.
Yeah.
And I just don't know that... I think the season's been good, you know what I mean? But I think that the audience response, if nothing happens at the end here, is going to be interesting.
Begging your pardon, Your Grace.
I had to see you.
What the fuck?
Oh, wow.
Is this in the book?
I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt it.
I've been, I think, mistaken.
Oh, which time?
In what?
Which one?
Walked outside the walls of the city and I felt a weight lifted from me. How lovely for you. I thought for the first time.
I swam naked in a pond.
Wander in the wilderness. What has it got to do with me?
Did she just turn down Dreamfire and Helena?
Did you come here thinking you would be absolved?
No. Dreamfire's still in King's Landing.
Yeah, but Helena leaves and there's no one left to ride Dreamfire.
Yeah.
And yet you believe he wavered at the end. Why have you come here?
I would love to know.
If you come then to King's Landing, I will see to it that our guards throw down their arms. We will open the gates. We will shed no blood. You will enter as a conqueror.
Okay.
He still heeds his mother. I believe I can prevail upon him to bend the knee.
No, still. You defend him.
This conversation is actually exhausting.
Choose. Will you shrink from what you set out to do, or will you see it through?
It's actually interesting that this mirrors the choice that Helena was given in the Blood and Cheese thing in episode 1.
Yeah.
To die unremarked and unnoticed. And be free.
It's a great line.
My part is here, whether I will or no. It's decided for me long ago.
They're both so good.
I know.
Like, the acting is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do feel like the acting this season is elevating some writing that I don't think is as tight as the acting is.
Oh, yeah. I will definitely agree with that.
A little bit, right?
Yeah. I like a lot of the choices they've made so far, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little confused at the structure of this finale.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not my favorite, but I am still enjoying so much of it. Like you said, mainly the performances.
Yeah. Like Alan of Hull, that scene was great. I just it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere right now.
Yeah.
And I think that part of my problem is my expectations for where the story you tell in a season change when you wait 2 years between seasons.
Yep.
I want more complete storytelling.
Yep.
If I'm going to have to wait 2 years than if I'm going to have to wait 1.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure Game of Thrones was like yearly for
a bit,
a decade, right? Like,
I don't know if
they did 8 seasons in 10 years.
Yeah, I guess that sounds about right.
Oh, Tessarion! I only know that because I haven't read the book, but boy howdy, do you guys like to tell me about the dragons? Oh no, this is literally a next season on House of the Dragon. Oh no, literally nothing's gonna happen. Fuck! I mean, the Starks are still at the Twins. Nobody's even in the same place right now. They're all weeks away from each other.
I also don't know how Alicent knew that Rhaenyra was in Harrenhal.
No, that was Dragonstone. She flew all the way back to Dragonstone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn that armor.
I know, it's so sick.
I want it.
The production design of Harrenhal this season has been excellent.
Yeah.
The plotline there was fine, but the production design here has been great.
I understand the character development that it gave Daemon. I just think it was a little prolonged.
If he dies in the next fight, though, what the fuck was the point of that character development?
I know.
Like, why develop a character into his death scene?
Well, we predicted it because he had character development. That's what people do.
I know.
How many wives did he get to fuck?
I don't know.
4, 7, 13. I'm gonna guess she has 4 wives.
Maybe. That armor's sick. Come on, girl, get your dragon. It's a cool design.
Yeah.
It is definitely the most wild of them, right? Otto!
No, that's...
Where the fuck have you been?
That is Otto. I thought it was Aegon for a second.
Too much hair on the left side of his head.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Larys was wrong about...
That scene would have been really cool if Helena hadn't told us early in the episode that he was going to live. Beautiful shot. That's gorgeous. We got Duned right at the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it. Woof. You dropped the ball. Not that the episode is bad.
It's kind of just disappointing.
You dropped the ball. Because of your production timeline.
Yeah.
This season had to have something in the second half, and it just doesn't. Meleys dies, and then people talk about what they're gonna do now that Meleys is dead for 4 episodes, and nothing fucking happens in any of them. And
no.
I get it. You wanted to do a lot of talking, but in terms of a show that is not going to return until 2026. I feel like, despite the fact that this was a very good episode of television, it was a bad finale for the production timeline of modern TV. If there were 2 more episodes, I would be like, oh shit, okay, finally everything's in place, I'd be excited. But now I'm like, okay, this might be really cool in 2 years when I watch it in the lead up to season 3.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. It felt like the penultimate episode.
Yeah.
It felt like we were about to hit something big, and that like deflating is going to be really hard to pick back up in 2 whole years.
Yeah.
You give it 10 months, 12 months, and people will remember the hype. They'll remember what the fuck happened. But they'll remember the excitement for it. And I think that you can have even if it came back in a year, I definitely still think that this finale is disappointing.
Yeah.
I just think that it is exacerbated by the 2-year timeline.
I think if the show is coming back, if I knew for a fact that like June 1st, 2025, we were getting this show back and that we were going to get a trailer in 6 months, I think that the hype of this moment would have been a little bit better. But I do agree with you. It's still disappointing.
For me, it's still not great, which is unfortunate because the individual pieces, I think there's a lot of really good stuff in there.
Well, and I think that one of the strengths of this show was the casting for season 1. And honestly, the cast for season 2 was great, but like the majority of the main cast was cast in season 1.
Yeah. And
so the team that put together the foundation of this show, I think, did a great job. And I'm not gonna lie, I think that like, because there was some changeover in writing and whatnot for season 2, and I think that they missed the mark on what the audience of this show is looking for. And I think that watching characters make decisions is really interesting. And I think that watching characters flounder about decisions isn't. And I think that this show had too many decisions be made too slowly. I didn't need an entire season for Rhaenyra to decide to do something. I didn't. And maybe they felt like that was the only way to get there. But like all of these characters behave in this season, not in season 1, in this season, as if they suddenly became nobles and are realizing for the first time that Heavy wears the crown.
No,
and like,
I don't believe that.
I do. I feel like all of these characters are walking around being like, I can't believe this is what war is like.
No, Rhaenyra completely got undercut by Daemon this whole season, and I think that that's why his stuff doesn't work, is because it actually just detracts from the plot, and
but that's what I mean. It literally just held everything in place.
Yeah, but Rhaenyra wants to make decisions, is trying to like strategize, was yeah, we're gonna get shit done. And Daemon just fucks off, and that literally puts a fucking wrench in her wheel, and she's like, I don't know what I can possibly do because I don't know what the fuck Daemon is doing.
But even without that, Rhaenyra's plan is still, well, I'll just have the most dragons and eventually they'll give up because I don't actually want to fight a war. But her position
that's
on
a great
it,
plan.
But her position on it is I don't want to fight a war. Even though the two men she knows to be in charge, Aemond and Aegon, right? These two cocksure boys who want a war, on the other side of it, it felt a little bit to me like she had never met Aegon and Aemond before, and wasn't treating the situation like they were the opponents on their side. This season,
but just because they are willing to slaughter innocents doesn't mean that Rhaenyra should be.
I disagree. And not slaughter innocents. I disagree with the idea that because your enemy's leadership is willing to do something, that you should hope that Alicent will eventually prevail in them not.
Well, but that's not what this is.
But I do think that's why the show's struggling. I think the show wants this to be about Rhaenyra and Alicent, and it isn't. Alicent doesn't have any power, which is what the scene's about. And I like the theme of Alicent losing power and realizing, mostly because she doesn't have any power, that she's upset that things went the way they were. She was fine with it when she had a seat at the table. Yeah. She only has a problem with it. But the show really wants the poster to be Alicent and Rhaenyra.
Yeah, which I get. I just really don't think that... I don't think that the way that this season went and all of that is like a knock on Rhaenyra. I think that it is absolutely... I think that it is a really interesting decision to have Rhaenyra being willing to set up all the domino pieces for a war and have the control, even though her son was fucking murdered, have the control not to tip the whole thing, right? I think that that's more interesting. You've got these two boys who just want to fight and burn shit to the ground, and it's why, like, I want her to succeed is because I actually buy that she cares what's best for the realm, and she could go in just fucking, like, burning and shit, and that's exactly what Dany did at the end of fucking Game of Thrones season 8, and it was fucking awful.
But I'm not even saying burn towns. I'm saying how many towns are you going to let burn before you get off your island?
They just got the dragons that they needed, and they were literally planning to like make shit happen. They had the army, they had the dragons, and they had an entire fleet of ships.
Yeah. And
then, Alicent comes in and gives Rhaenyra, in a way, the one thing that she wants, which is like her becoming queen without having to slaughter like innocent people. And I think
Alicent does not have the power to do that.
Well, no, and it's obviously going to backfire. Helena is the one who will give it up, but I also think that
Helena's not going to be there. And Rhaenyra being in the Red Keep does not end the war.
Why wouldn't Helena be there? She is the
Aemond
regent. Not regent.
Alicent doesn't know that Aemond convinced Helena to fly to battle with him at
You think
Harrenhal.
He convinced her?
I feel like they must.
Oh, I thought that was her being like, go fuck yourself.
The problem is Aegon isn't there anymore. So,
which is going
Aegon
to be the
will
problem.
live to be the king again, which is why I fucking hate. I hate prophecies. This shit ruins TV for me because now I'm like, oh, okay, well I have to worry about Alicent's plan coming true because a character told me it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
The magic character told me where Daemon dies, and she told me that Aegon doesn't die here. So like, I'm really glad we had this 12-minute scene between two women at the end of this episode about a thing that you told me previously in the episode doesn't occur.
Hey,
the acting's great, but like
that scene.
I love the scene and I love the acting, but if you take out Helena being a prophet who says that it doesn't work, all of the weight of her being like, I choose Aegon to die, is way heavier if I think that it might happen as the audience.
Yeah, because we're sitting there being like, no, it fucking doesn't.
But your magic character told me it doesn't happen. And I want to be really clear. I've said this on Book Club a million times. I get that other people like prophecies. Clearly, because it's in so much shit. But for me personally, when you have a character straight up just tell me that something isn't going to happen, when the characters are debating their plans later and I just know it's a failure, I go, well, okay, can we let's get to them doing stuff. I don't care about them talking about a plan that can't work.
Because none of it's going to matter.
And I get that I get that that's a minority thing for me, but it deflates things for me.
I
And
don't
for
know,
that to be the finale, that is the
Yeah.
big final moment of this episode, is them discussing a plan that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
If that was like in the middle of the episode and then there was like a big build to the end after it, it wouldn't bug me so much. But it's literally the last thing. The last shot is Alicent on a cliff, like overlooking the water because she's sad. And I get it. She's sad because she made this horrible choice about her son. But I'm watching that going, don't worry, it doesn't happen. There's no tension in her making that decision to me, the audience.
Yeah.
I get that there is for her, the character.
But
But I'm sitting here going, girl, don't be sad. Your
Here's the
son
thing.
fucked up.
Here's the thing. The prophecy aside, which obviously that's going to be a mileage may vary for
And
the
it's probably
audience.
from the book, so like I don't.
Sure. I actually think I would have left out Aegon at the end of this little montage.
I agree 100%.
I think it's like, oh, Alicent had to do a really hard thing. And like it's hard to like feel bad because Aegon's a fucking rapist. But like she still loves him because he is her son. And like there is weight to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would have been more interesting if they hadn't been like, don't worry, he like does get away, because you could open season 3 with that. And I think that for the people who haven't read the books, like us, like obviously the prophecy is there, but I don't know that he sneaks out right away. It like I could be thinking in my head, oh, they get there and he has to like fucking scramble or whatever it is. I think that's more exciting for the audience, especially when you don't have anything exciting at the end of the finale to really like hype people up. This wasn't a hype finale, and that it's I love this show so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's just some like weird choices this season.
I really think
Sorry,
that the
I am losing my voice.
No, it's fine. You sound great. I think the entirety of Harrenhal could have been handled in 2 episodes. I literally think all of it could
Half
have
the
been
time.
2 episodes.
Yeah.
Well, it's 8. So like half.
Well, but it's a little bit in each one.
You know what? I'll allow it down to 4. I'll give you down to 4 episodes of it.
Yeah.
That was molasses.
He wasn't there the whole time. He left in episode 2.
Okay, so 7 episodes.
No, at the end. He left like at the end, so he had 6 episodes there. I believe.
Then I still hold it could have been handled in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I really think you could cut so much of this season. I think you could cut both of Alicent and Rhaenyra's scenes, which is sad to say. But Rhaenyra's going to the Sept and like sneaking into King's Landing, which I read your comments, isn't in the book. And this scene, which I have a feeling is also not in the book.
I don't care. The Sept scene was one of the highlights of the season for me. And I understand that it's like nothing happens. But I think for those 2 characters, that moment, like for me, this show is about the characters. And
Well, then why don't you love the finale? Because that's all this finale was about the characters.
Well, because that was in the middle of the season. And this is the finale. You gotta up
but
the
But
ante.
if what you're saying is that the thing that matters about the show to you is the characters, then don't you want the finale to be about the characters? Is my question.
I'm happy to have that scene in it. I'm just saying that this finale did not do enough for me.
Okay.
I like the choices that have been made most of the time, but I just think that the finale was lacking in a way, because we already know that they're like incredible actors, and like I want the emotional arc as well as like the dragons and the epic feel that this show provides. And I just did not get that epicness from the finale. Yeah, there were a lot of great dragon shots. There was beautiful cinematography. It just, it felt, I feel like I'm literally missing a piece.
Well, because I think that part of the problem is that season 1's 10 episodes. And you just watched season 1 going into season 2. And so season 2 this felt like episode 8 of 10. It really does.
Yeah.
Because episode 9 in every Game of Thrones season was the big battle.
Yeah.
And so this truly feels like episode 8 of 10. But part of the problem with this show is that every episode's an hour and 5 to an hour and 10 minutes.
Literally, like, I'm like half convinced there is an episode next week. Like, HBO's like, surprise, we have a new episode, like another episode next week. Like, I feel
like... If they
did
that, it would be the hypest. It would be brilliant. It really would be brilliant to be like, Also, this Sunday, you guys thought we were done? No. We just set everything up. Dominoes are gonna fall.
Like that. Like that's what this feels like. This feels like it is. It has to be a joke, like a prank. Like we're being pranked. That wasn't the finale.
I really love the Kristen Cole scene. I was really enamored with it. I thought Fabian, that was some of his best acting in the whole show, and he's been great. As much as I hate the character, I've never once thought that Fabian was a bad portrayer of that character. No, he's been great the whole time.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah, there is so much. There's still so much in the show to be excited for.
Yeah.
But I do think as a finale for a season, I mean, I agree with you, right? I think I'm a little harsher on the show than you are. I think the writing has had some real circular problems of just going around on the same ideas with certain characters. And I'm excited for these characters to kind of like get to the next stage in some of these stories.
I actually think that you and I agree on pretty much everything. It is the mileage may vary kind of thing where like, you know, the prophecies don't like take away from it as much as they do for you. And so
that's what I mean by I'm harsh on it than you, is that like I like it, but I don't like it as much as you do.
Oh, see, when I think of like being harsh on, I mean like literally like critiquing harsher. But I feel like
I would say I think that I would probably if we do numbers at the end of this, I will probably give it a lower number than you do. Because I think that a lot of these conversations felt like conversations we've already watched these exact couples have. The Mysaria Rhaenyra scene felt like a complete waste of time.
Well, it was
also
3 seconds.
The yeah, I know, but it's the only thing Mysaria does in the finale, and it's a conversation we've already seen her and Rhaenyra have. It's not even an evolution of that conversation.
Right.
It's just the same conversation we've seen them have before. Jace is still upset about the same thing, right?
He's
Bela
not given
is
any...
still just fucking being his mom because his mom is too busy to be his mom, even though she's his wife.
He definitely, unfortunately, got no kind of change or resolution in this episode. And I'm not saying that, like, his fears need to be completely assuaded in literally 2 episodes. Like, that would be silly. But some kind of next step, like, progression in it, whether it's one direction or the other.
Well, and Bela was like, you got to stand up next to her. And then he kind of does and says, like, one short thing. But I really thought he was going to stand up with some gusto. I thought we were about to have, like, Jace's moment.
Yeah.
And instead we just kind of caught him and be like, yeah, listen to my mom. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess that was it. And it literally was. He doesn't do anything after that in the episode, right? And, you know, we got some great stuff with him earlier in the season, like when he went to the phrase and he opened up the twins, right? We got him being a diplomat at times in this episode. And I thought he portrayed those scenes really well. And also I thought they were really interesting because I like the political intrigue of Game of Thrones world.
Yeah.
And one of the political intrigue problems with this show is that there's no intrigue. Like, the characters just straight up just say how they're feeling.
Well, because everyone has to be declaring sides, and so it's less like who's scheming and plotting.
I know, but the guy who goes to see Daemon is straight up like, hey, you should betray your wife. Like, he doesn't even, like, feel Daemon out first. He's just like, you know, if you were to declare, and like...
Well, I think he felt that Rhaenyra sending him to suss out what was going on was enough. Like, if
then
she
show him
thinks
sussing out.
if she thinks that he is there to betray her, then that's enough of an incentive for, like, him to think so. He's also not the brightest. Like, his counsel is not helpful, right? Like, he's basically just like, no, fight, swords, bang, bang, fire, dragon, roar. Like, he doesn't add anything to the conversation. He is just, like, one of her staunch allies.
I understand that. But the difference between Game of Thrones and this show is that the staunch allies were intelligent characters who had points of view.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like a large percentage of the characters in the season, as much as I like the acting, were written as intelligent.
No,
everyone seems so petulant on this show.
Yeah, I agree. The time. Because, like, in Game of Thrones, for example, you had characters like
Littlefinger, Varys.
Yes, you had even Tyrion was like smart and like scheming and, you know, just trying to fucking get by. But you had people with their own wants and desires and plans and whatever it may be, and it definitely feels less like fleshed out.
And this season's version of that. Because one of the things I loved about Game of Thrones in the books, and I haven't read Flesh and Blood, and I'm
Fire and Blood.
Fire and Blood, sorry. I think they said Flesh and Blood in this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you did.
The woman, she looked so much like Aloy from fucking Horizon Forbidden West.
The woman he mud wrestled with?
I hated that so much. I hated it so much. I get it. You guys were like, oh my god, we need to have something funny happen in the final episode. But the idea that this woman is this respected sea captain, and the way that she evaluates the man she's gonna go to fucking naval combat with is mud wrestling, it doesn't make any sense. It's not a test of seaworthiness. It's not a test of anything related to what might make him good at the job.
Fucking with him, right? Like that.
But this is my point. This is my point between intelligent characters plotting and creating a scenario in which they can succeed.
Oh yeah, she's not plotting. She's
television sitcom shit where like you could put that scene in Friends and have Joey doing it, and it wouldn't change the comedy of the scene. It would be the same plot. And it ends with her being like, I want you to fuck my wives, which is like a joke. It's a sitcom joke. It has nothing to do with the plot of the show. It was purely just comedy shit to get to the point where they're on a boat together at the end. And honestly, you could cut all of it, have them be like, you're going to have to convince this person, and then have the ship show up next season. We're like, oh my god, he fucking did it? That's crazy. Meanwhile, we know, oh my god, You want to know why these dragons died in the sea battle? It's because that guy beat a woman at mud wrestling. Because that was the test for some reason.
Dying?
I'm assuming like some dragon will die in the big... I'm assuming a dragon will show up and try and help the boat battle and die. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. If that plot had gone somewhere in this episode, I think I would have gotten on board with it. And maybe I will like her in 2 years when we see her actually do something. But this episode, she was super strong lady who makes sexual jokes and mud wrestles to see if she likes a man enough to fight alongside him. And I found it to be very gratuitous in a way that I did not enjoy.
Gratuitous?
Yeah.
I didn't find it very sexual at all.
Gratuitous doesn't mean... Sexually gratuitous is sexual, but gratuitous just meaning that it was over the top in a way that was distracting from what the tone of everything else going on in this episode. Which is why they put it there. And I get that. I just felt like it went too far, which is why I used the word gratuitous.
I think that it works better in a different episode.
1,000%. No. I agree with you.
Yeah.
If it wasn't the finale, it is that this woman shows up in the finale to be comedic relief strong woman.
Yeah.
And that is all she is. She is a character who is fucking around when everyone else is locking in. And then at the end of the episode, she's very seriously sitting on her boat. And we're supposed to buy into the fact that she's actually this really serious warrior because she mud wrestled for this.
Well, yeah, I mean, they're on a different, continent. She's not serious about their war. Like she'll go fight, but, they're literally across the sea,
sure,
and having a good time.
I agree with you. And if it was in episode 5, and then we got to see her do something else later on that made me understand why I should think that she's a great warrior and that she's a great leader, then I would be on board. If we saw any reason for me to believe that she's a great leader, I would be on board. But what we saw was that she mud wrestles.
Yeah.
And the men love to watch her mud wrestle. And that to me is it is gratuitous. It was over the top comedy to balance out an episode that is incredibly dour and where not much happens. And so it's they gotta laugh a little bit at something. Let's throw this super this strong woman in to be the yuck yucks in an episode that's otherwise kind of, it's a little boring, right? And I just didn't like it. I would have appreciated it so much more if she was if she just took him through any test that I felt gave her an idea of the fact that he was a leader, or that he gets a lucky shot in where he backhands her. And then she's like, oh!
But it wasn't actually...
You hit me in the face.
You know it wasn't about the mud wrestle, right? You know that.
What was it about? Okay, if you were to tell me what was that scene about in the context of this episode, what was it about?
It was about him not being so far up his own ass that he was unwilling to meet her on her level. She's like, let's mud wrestle. She was literally fucking with him the whole time. The mud wrestle didn't matter.
And what about him backhanding her, it ending because he hits her in the face? Tell her that he wasn't up his own ass. Because it's not like he's laughing, which I would have gotten. If he had broken character, right? If he had lost a little bit of that Lannister, like, ness about it, and laughed, and, like, had a genuine moment with her like that, and, like, enjoyed himself, I would agree with you 100%.
So it's because in Westeros, like, women don't fight, right? And so, like, him, like, actually hitting her and fighting her back is, from what I understand, like, a show of strength and respect. And she's like, oh, you get it.
Yeah, I think you could do it without mud wrestling. I think that you could do it without the thing that we associate so much with, specifically, like particularly in America, like, comedies and, like, sexual comedies. And, like...
It just wasn't very sexy mud wrestling.
No, and I'm not saying that the mud wrestling was sexy. I'm saying that, like, the connotation, by making it such an obliquely comedic scene, and then having her next scene also be just obliquely comedic, right? And that's my point about it doesn't live in a vacuum, right? The scene on its own, I think that I would have gotten more on board with if I then got on board with the fact that this woman does take something seriously.
Yeah,
it's that both of her scenes are the same joke.
Last minute at the end of, like, the season, and I think that, yeah, I think it was in the wrong spot.
And that's all I'm saying. Or if there was another episode, and next episode she kicked that, you know what I mean? And she, like...
Okay, well, let's be honest, though. That's not all you're saying. You're saying that the scene, like, doesn't work for you for X amount of reasons, and also it's just in the wrong spot. There were things missing. Yeah. And that's fine. That is okay. I'm getting tired of the super strong woman who's, like, really sexual joke. That's if it's only comedy and that character doesn't have any sort of inner life. And next season she might, but that's all we got, and so it's just kind of like, oh.
And that's why it doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She might be my favorite character in season 3. I'm not sitting here being like, I will never like the character. I didn't think the actress did a poor job. I thought she was great. The character, in the context that we currently have of her, knowing that I'm not going to see anything more of her until fucking 2026. Right now, I'm like, I could do without all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that changes. I genuinely hope that changes. But this was just, it was a joke scene and then a joke scene. Or there was 3 joke scenes. Because the first one was she's introduced where they're like, he, him. They used all the he, him pronouns. Then a woman walks out, right? That's a joke. It's literally played in, like, the rule of 3 for the joke of, oh, look, it's a woman. And then
I don't remember them ever referring to her as a guy. They're like, so the last thing that you need to do is, like, you have to go sailing with the captain of our ships, and no one else will.
I'm pretty convinced they use he, him pronouns to describe the captain.
But I definitely did not notice it. I knew it was going to be a woman. As soon as they were like, yeah, we have a captain, I was like, oh, it's going to be a woman. Like, I don't know.
I would have loved a scene somewhere after that of her with her people without Thailand. Because we only see her speak to him. We don't see her address anybody else in this episode. She only has lines to him, and she is a joke character in the finale.
They didn't have money to pay the extras. They couldn't afford people to bump up their check to have, like, lines, dialogue.
I think that if you had introduced the character with a little bit more context, I would have been 100% more on board than I am, which is like, I take her or leave her.
Yeah.
And, like, and look, it's not that I'm raging against strong women, right? Like, I'm not fucking nerdrotic over here.
No, it's just like,
there's so many strong women on this show that I appreciate their performance. You know what I mean? I think Rhaenyra is a very strong woman.
Yeah.
I'm very appreciative of the way that this show has portrayed women, probably in a way that they're not in flesh and blood, right? Fire and blood. I keep saying that. I'm willing to bet that the female characters do not do as much in that book as they do in the show.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think that Fire and Blood plays a little bit more towards the reality of the Regency era, and the show plays a little bit more towards, like, modern sensibilities, right? And I'm not complaining about that. I like modern sensibilities. I have them. But
well, it's not from any of the perspectives of these characters. Like, obviously, like, the theme of this whole thing is, like, misogyny. A woman can't lead a kingdom. And I think that's the same in the book or, like, the show. But I definitely think that, like, in the book, right, it's, I believe, from the perspective of, like, different men recording this history.
I don't think misogyny is a huge theme in the book.
What the fuck do you mean?
I don't think that is. I haven't read it.
What?
This is me guessing, basing having not read it. But I don't think that. I'm willing to bet money that misogyny is not as big of a motivating factor for as many characters in the book as it is in the show. I think that based on the fact that, like, knowing that the Rhaenyra Alicent Septon scene is not in the books. Knowing that the...
Yeah, but Jaehaerys literally picked Viserys over Rhaenys. That's how this whole thing, like, starts.
Oh, sure. I just think that I think that the book goes further back and further ahead than this piece of it.
Well, probably.
And so I think that I still think misogyny is a part of it. I just think that because it is written from the perspective of three men, right? I think that the book probably does not delve into the themes nearly as much as the show. I'm not saying it's not present. Like, it's definitely a big part of it.
But you're like, no, it's not. Like, okay.
I know. All I'm saying is
they don't actually get into it.
The show gets into it in ways that I'm almost certain the book does not.
I understand what you're trying to say. Gotcha.
I just don't. I don't. Having read all of Game of Thrones many times, I don't believe that is a massive focus.
I definitely misunderstood. I thought you were like, no, it's great. There's no misogyny.
I haven't read the book.
No,
I don't know. I'm just saying that the show is definitely adding in more of that and making it a much more central theme to the show, whereas I don't think the backbone of the book, mostly because the backbone of the book is not internal POVs, right?
I think it's about the destruction of dragons. It would be my guess, having not read it.
And it's more historical. It's like recounts of historical fact.
Yeah.
I just don't think that Rhaenyra's feelings about being queen and her husband not loving her in the way that she wants is as thrust forward in the book because there's no, like, internal monologue from Rhaenyra to establish that for us.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's fair. I'm not gonna lie. I think the last 3 episodes have really dampened my enjoyment of the show. I don't have a lot of faith in the writers of the show right now. I think that it has all been very good on the acting side. I think the production and set design of the show have been very good. And I think the first half of the season was really excellent. I think that up until Maelyse's death, and honestly the fallout of Rhaenys's death was really great, episode 5. And I think the last 3 episodes for me have fallen flat.
Yeah, I think they have some really incredible pieces within the structure, but the structure is a bit weak. I like individual scenes, and I like actors' performances, and I like visuals, but how this season was structured is not my favorite. Definitely lacking, unfortunately, because this is my shit. I love I just want more of this, please.
The last time I felt like this was the farm in season 2 of The Walking Dead.
How dare you?
The Harrenhal plotline to me in this season is stretched the way the farm feels to me.
No, because at least there's good characters in this.
There's great characters in The Walking Dead.
I'm sorry, that plotline was centered around the most fucking lame-ass character, who then honestly becomes interesting.
Sure.
But, it was about her, and I was like, I don't give a fuck about this woman.
But the point I want to make is that I feel... Okay, I love season 1 of Walking Dead.
Okay.
I felt similarly after season 2 of Walking Dead that I do now.
Interesting. There's a little...
Season 3 of Walking Dead is one of my favorite seasons of television ever.
Is that the jail?
Among other things. I am really hopeful that much like season 3 of The Walking Dead, which had me by the balls for that whole season. I was at the panel at New York Comic Con, and then I was every single night. Every week. I was loving it. I'm hopeful that now that all of this talky shit is done, and all of these characters are finally headed towards Harrenhal,
That's
which
season
they've been
3.
headed to for all 8 episodes.
Season 3 is just gonna...
I just hope it's great. I hope that season 3 is like the rocket ship taking off and the show really gets going. And I hope that the audience isn't turned off by what this season was. Because I do think there's so much good here.
No,
I
that's
do. And
fair.
I know I've been negative, and I know that I'm just trying to be honest about my feelings.
No, I think we've had a really good chat. I honestly was expecting to watch this, be like, yeah, wow, boom, 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 turn off the camera. But I think we actually had a more interesting discussion because...
It is 2:18 in the morning.
Yeah. But because it was definitely a bit of a letdown, and that is unfortunate, but I feel like we had interesting things to say, and maybe that's just me being on my own ass, but the comments will let me know, so...
I want to ask you one last question.
Sure.
What would you rank it? And what would you rank it if there were 2 more episodes this season? And are those numbers different?
Episode?
Yes, this episode.
Yeah, absolutely they're different. Absolutely.
Okay, so what would you rank it based on just it, and what would you rank it if you knew there were 2 more episodes coming?
It, as a, like, finale, knowing that there is nothing after this... I'd probably give this like a 5.5 out of 10.
Oh, I would. Okay.
Yeah, I like.
I thought there was gonna be a bigger gulf between us.
Okay, no, I think 5.5 or 6 out of 10. Like those points are there for the actors, and like I said, I think individual scenes are very good. There was beautiful cinematography, great dragon, like kind of great dragon moments. They look good, anyways. But yeah, the structure is lacking. The foundations are unfortunately not supporting the show very well. And so I think as a finale, it was not great. Like, it might be my least favorite episode of this season. And not because I expected it to be a finale, but honestly, just because of the structure of the episode, even just by itself. Like, I still would rank it higher, like I said, if it wasn't the finale, but I still think that this is definitely, might be my least favorite episode of the season so far, unfortunately.
Yeah.
What would you give it, knowing that this is the finale?
A 5.
Yeah, okay.
It is the only episode of this show that I would give a rotten score to on. Like, if I was going by the Rotten Tomatoes meter of 60 and above is tomato, and 59 and below is a splat. This is the only episode of the show that I would give a green tomato to. And
it's unfortunate.
I was very much bored, and the comedy scenes were the worst scenes of the episode to me. And so I really hope I like those characters again next season. I think the actor who plays Thailand has been great across 2 seasons. And so
it's different characters.
It's a little bit easier to give him the benefit of the doubt coming out of those.
Wait, he plays the twins, right? He is not a twin?
I can never... No, I think he
plays them
is
both.
not twins, but the Kingsguard, Queensguard pair were twins.
They were real twins, yes. But no,
I know one of them's real twins and one of them's fake twins.
Yes, Eric and Eric were like real life twins, I believe. And then he is one actor that plays twins, yes.
I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
And I think she was fine. I think she's probably better than what the material she was given for these 2 scenes.
She was not given a lot.
I think this episode, I think this season had too many plot lines, and I think that half of them aren't even in this episode. Like, what's going on at the Erie? Nothing? Okay.
They left.
Okay.
They're literally gone.
So where did the kids go?
They went to Pentos.
With who?
The concert.
Who has
group
them?
of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because their sister's supposed to be the one taking them, and their sister was like, "Nah, just take my siblings."
I mean, yeah, but
the future of the realm to another continent without me.
Yeah,
there
was a whole group of them, but yes,
sure.
That is exactly what happened.
Who in that group have we met? We have never met a character who is now in charge of 2 of the heirs of the realm.
Yeah, no,
Not in this episode. And so I think it really fell flat. If there were 2 more episodes, how would you feel?
Like I said, it's still probably my least favorite episode. I like, maybe a 6 or a 6.5. Maybe like honestly, like I think that if you're rating episodes, you can't be like, oh well, maybe it will work if there's something after. I think I definitely think that in hindsight, you can look back on episodes and maybe score them differently. But hypothetically, if there were 2 episodes after this, I still don't know what happens in those episodes, and I'm still left kind of like, okay, like what was this episode? What was this episode really? Like, yeah, so I would say, like, I would give this like a 5.5 as a finale, and no more than a 6.5 as an episode by itself.
See, that's interesting because I know myself. I do know myself pretty well. I watched a lot of TV. And if there was an episode next week, this would have been an incredible final 2 minutes. And so, I would be sitting, I would have said none of the other shit, and we would have spent the entire time theorizing about what happens next. And I would give it probably a 7. Not a huge, but you jump up by 1 point, I jump up by 2. If there was an episode next week, I would have ended the episode being like, oh, it's going down.
It's gonna happen.
Oh my God. 1 week from today, it is going down. And look, and that is an impatience on my part, right? I should be just as excited for that content to eventually happen in 2 years.
No.
But
2 years is so long. Stop it.
But also,
no, HBO, listen, come here. You need to stop with this fucking shit. 2 years is way too fucking long. You lose people.
Yeah.
People forget what fucking happens. And a lot of people don't have time to rewatch this shit. I had it on while I was doing other things. But other people can't do that. And these are the kind of shows that are so nitty gritty. There's so many names. There's so many, like, names, terminology.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stop it. Please. For the love of God.
I agree with her. It's not just HBO though. Netflix is doing it with Avatar and with One Piece.
I know.
It's everything. It's partially just VFX timelines, and I get it, but like just bring your cast back faster. Greenlight second seasons for your shows before.
Yeah,
anyway,
we should have some more VFX studios and employ artists.
Yeah, but then they would have to pay them. And they don't want to do that, unfortunately, which is why I'm on strike right now for video games. So that's fun. Go SAG. If there was so it's a 5 for me right now. If it was coming back in like a year, I think I'd probably give it a 6. I'd probably bump it up a little bit, knowing that like, oh, it's coming. And because it's and if it was next week, I'd be a 7. I think that or maybe the episode wouldn't be a 7, but my excitement in the moment after watching it would be so high, knowing what's coming.
You wouldn't feel disappointed. You would feel energized for next week.
But I would still call it boring. I found the episode a little bit boring. The Daemon Rhaenyra scene was really great. It just doesn't mean anything because Daemon has to, and maybe he dies at Harrenhal in like 2 years. I don't fucking know. I feel like Vhagar going to Harrenhal has to have consequences for someone, and the show has told me that Daemon dies there. So like when Daemon drowns in the lake next to Harrenhal next season, I'm gonna be like, yeah, you told me that was gonna happen. So that's cool. I'm glad you showed me the thing you told me about, which is why I don't like prophecies. Because I just it's just like, oh yeah, I know. You told me.
Nerdy doesn't like dramatic irony.
Okay, but it's not dramatic irony.
I'm teasing.
There's no dramatic irony in Daemon just knowing where he dies. That's not ironic.
No, I mean the audience knowing, like, the audience being ahead of the characters.
Right, but you need the dramatic, which is that, and then you need the irony. It has to be ironic. You know what I mean? Fine. Like, dramatic irony is when I'm teasing that there's no guns in the bullet, when that someone took the bullets out of the gun, and the person on stage thinks the gun is loaded, right? Yeah. And so they're behaving as if the gun is loaded, and they are not shooting people because they think the gun is loaded, and so they're joking around, right? This show is Daemon knows he's going to die at Harrenhal, and we know he's going to die at Harrenhal, and we're all just waiting for him to die at Harrenhal.
Well, he doesn't know that. If someone literally was like, you're going to die here, I'd be like, cool.
If that person then showed me visions of something that happens in 300 years of a naked child sitting in fire with dragons crawling all over her, I'd be like, maybe that girl knows what's up. I've had a lot of weird visions since that woman told me I was going to die here.
That is a valid point.
There's been a lot of magic shit that's gone on. Anyway, we've talked a lot about this. If you like the video, great. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below because the algorithm god is hungry and we must feed her. This episode, that algorithm goddess is...
Oh my god.
Can I submit one?
Rhaena must be so hungry.
Oh, yeah.
Who's your algorithm goddess?
I was going to give it to Helena.
Yeah.
That poor girl.
Starving for love and
She's the
attention.
only good person in the show.
I know. She's never done anything wrong, and I just feel so bad for her because everyone around her sucks.
Yeah. If you want to follow us on the internet, you can. I'm at Nerdy Nightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
As always, do something nerdy tonight.
Bye, guys.
Bye.